Okay, so in the last class we saw calendar and some shared components. Any question you have?
Uh, yeah, I'm fine.
So I'll continue with the shared component. We have covered this authorization, authentication, and some navigation menu bars. Similarly,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
uh, in the first one, the application logic, it has some global declarations about application, like application definition. If you go here, it will show the application name, alias, then release, then version, friendly URL. So when you see this Apex URL, it has a predefined structure. In any Apex application, you will see the URL will be like this. The up to this is your host, then the PLS Apex. These are some uh, locations for some of the Apex files. This is your workspace name, and this is the application name, and this is the page alias. Application name in the sense application alias, this one, and this one is the page alias. And the last parameter is session equal to a unique generated session ID. So as I navigate through the page, you will see the URL will remain same, only this will change. Because after login, we just goes from one page to another page. So what happens? URL keeps changing based on the page where you are currently. So if I click on, let's say this one, see this changed, page alias.
Yeah.
So this is the structure of Apex URL, and friendly URL means this URL type is called friendly URL. This was introduced a few years back, and previously there was a different structure of Apex URLs. So that URL will have like host and then application ID, page ID, but that is now an old method. So it is always preferable to use this friendly URL. In some global things you can set here feedback, login, compatibility mode. So these are the different versions, and generally what happens when you upgrade your Apex instance and you move the application from one version to another, we need to change this to the latest version. Suppose I have one application here, 19 or 20, and I will upgrade the Apex environment. So Apex environment will be upgraded, but the application will show this only. So then we have to go to application and change this to the latest compatibility mode. Because if you don't, the new features will not appear in your application. So application items. So these are kind of a global variables, you can say. Any item which can be used throughout the application and on the multiple pages of the application. So that you can define under this,
Okay.
because then it's easy for developers to access, suppose, an item, and which the value for the item will remain same throughout the application. Let's say some role or anything which will not change in the session. Once a user logs in, the value of the item can be set by some method, and we can use that anywhere in the application. So that is very useful, this application items. I'll show you some example. Let's say I'll create one date item. So generally we create application item like this, current date, okay, and create application item. Now this is just like we declare a global variable in the uh, package. It's a similar concept, and we create it in the here application item. Sorry. So this is how we create one application item. You can give it a name, and the scope of this items will be throughout the application. Now let's say how to set a value to this item. For that, there is one application process and there is one application computation. In the process also we can set the value, and a process has some other features also, and application computation is specifically used to set the value in the application item. So let's create one application computation. So you need to go to application computation, create, then computation item. So here you need to choose this application item, and I'll write this, select state from 12. So as you can see, there are multiple ways you can write the code: expression, function, body, item value, SQL query. So I have selected this, select sysdate from 12. So it will return the sysdate. Create computation. Now one more thing here, the computation point. This is very important. Like when you want to execute this. So when you create a computation, it will take this one on new instance. New instance means when we log into the application, that time. After authentication means after login, like it will execute. Before header means it will execute every time on load of a page. So these are different computation points. Let's go ahead with this, and now if I run this application, I will show you in the system. So currently you see in the session I don't see the value of that application items. There is nothing. Now let's say if I log out, And if I log in back, see, now it's showing the item name and value. This in the session I can see. Now how to use this item anywhere. So let's say I'll take this. This you can use anywhere. It's just a date example, but you can add it anything. You can set the value. So what I'll do, I'll add here the date in the navigation bar. I'll add a new entry, the first one. So sequence I'll change to 5 and person item name dot no target. See, date is appearing here. So any question from what is application item?
Yeah. So far it's good.
So you will use, yeah, because it is very useful in cases where something globally we need. So we don't need to create item on each page, and better to create an application item and use it anywhere you want to use.
Okay.
Computation application process is also like same thing. What we have the page processes, right? In pages, we have a process to save the data. Similarly, the application process is something we want to execute at the time of login login itself. Let's say how page processes work. Let's say if I go to this page, if I click on this edit page 3. So this is the process to insert update data in the table imp.
Mhm.
Now this process will only work when a user comes here and click on this apply changes button or do any modification. That time this page process will work. Application process is something that you want to execute without clicking anything and at the time of login to the application itself. Then we write the page process and you need to write that complete logic, the PLSQL code. Like you need to go to here, create, need to give some name. Then again the same thing, execution point and click next and write the PLSQL code. So whatever code you write, some insert, update or delete or anything to set the value, so it will execute when a user logs into the application.
Okay.
In this application settings, uh, this is not that much used for application setting. Never define application level configure page with your application to access your application settings. These are some of the like Apex app settings. So in generally you will not use. It is some kind of API calls and all. If we need to do, then this is a one advanced level of settings that we need to use. and build option is some release related. This again not that much useful. Generally we don't use this one. Where this is used. It's not. So this is used to enable like to exclude anything from the application, but generally best way is to go to the pages and add some condition instead of using this. These are, as you can see, you can apply build option to most components of a page region items to include and exclude them in the runtime application. So something, let's say you want to hide from users, you can
Okay.
add a build option and you can use that build option in the component. In the components means this one. In every component, when we go to a page, there is a section called build option here. So
Yeah.
if I choose this, and based on the condition defined here, this will behave according to that. So this is one way of hiding things, but another way is also there in the page itself. Regions and all you can hide based on the server side condition. If you put this condition never on any component, that will be hidden.
Mm.
So there are two things. The build option is a kind of a uh, on a high level where in the build itself you can define what this build option will do, and based on the status, let's say today we create a build option and the status is exclude, and wherever we add this build option, the everything will be excluded from the runtime application, means page or button or region or item, anything. Now means suppose you are something in your development phase, you are working on that and you have the same environment where users are also working. So generally what happens when you add something new in the live environment, those things will appear to end users but you don't want to show them. So what you can do, you can create a build option, status as exclude, and you put this build option in all those components which you are currently working. Once the everything is done, all the changes are completed, you just need to change the status of build option to include. That's it. So all the components will be available after that.
Okay.
It works like that. This other components, the list of values. So list of values are this is referred as LOV in Apex, and what it is, you see two are already created. Department
Oh,
dot
the
dname.
screen share is not working.
It is not working.
Okay, now I see.
Yeah. So now I came to this section, other components. Here you list of values, LOVs. So LOVs are for the drop downs. in your in application you may have multiple list of values. List of values are called like this one. Say yeah, here we have this manager field is showing as a drop down, right?
Mm.
And it is showing names. Now there are two ways when I go to this item. When the item type is select list. So it will ask you for a list of values because select list must have a list of name like list of items to show in the drop down, right? So for that it will ask you a source. So you need to there are multiple ways here. Shared component SQL query, static values, function body returning SQL query. So SQL query means you need to write the SQL query here. Static value means you can give any static display and return value. Function body means you can give a function name which will return a SQL query. And shared component means it will show the list of values from shared component. And then you need to choose which one to select. Now, why we need a list of value when there is a SQL query itself? So that I will show you here. Now let's say this manager. In the application, this will repeat at many times on many pages. The manager drop down will be there. If you go to this list of value, imp name, inside you will see the SQL query only or table based on table it is showing return imp number display imp name. So what happens if we write the SQL on the page itself? Let's say in future there is a change in the SQL query and you have used this SQL query on multiple pages. So what happens? You need to go to each page and change the SQL query
Okay.
because it's the same query you are using on every page. But now there is a change. So you need to find what are all the pages where I have used this and then you need to change it. To avoid this situation, it's better to use this list of values.
Okay.
Something a drop down which you have a generic drop down, a common drop down which can be used on multiple places. So no need to write SQL query on each page. Create one list of value and use that list of value on the pages, just like this. Refer
Okay.
the name of list of value. So it is like your code is at only one place. Refer this list of value. So code is only in the shared component list of value and it is referred everywhere. Now maintenance will be very easy. In case of any change in the table or any condition you need to modify, you just modify that in the list of values. That's it.
Yeah.
So you change the code in one place, change is reflected everywhere in the application. So no need to find where all it is used and change. So that's the benefit of using this list of values.
Hmm.
Plugins, there are many Apex plugins available in the market. Plugins are something, let's say, something beyond the native features of Apex. Like whatever native features Apex gives you to create the application, if you want to add some functionality which is not available with Apex, but you may find some plugin for that. Let's say some QR code scanner or something. These are not available by default in Apex, but there are plugins available in the market. So, and where to get the plugins? So you need to go here, view plugin repository, and there are apexworld.com, apex.world. In this, you see, these all are plugins.
Okay.
So you can search by any keyword, and then it will give you the result, and you can download. After downloading the plugin, we need to import it. So plugins will be always a SQL file, a single file with .sql extension.
Hmm.
You need to import it here like this. You need to first download it, save it somewhere, then import the file by adding the file here. And here you need to have this plugin selected, and then go next,
Okay.
install it, and after that you can use the plugin. I will show you some example of some plugins. And one thing which is very which creates some problem with plugins is upgrade. So that is why it is not suggested to use plugins, because then there is a dependency you have on a third party, you can say a software
Yeah.
or integration. What happens now? Let's say with the current version, whatever you have, you found some plugin, because each plugin is compatible with a version. When you go to plugin page, you see here Apex 23 DB version. This Now this plugin will not work with the latest version of Apex 24.1,
Mm.
because this was developed for 23. Now what happens when you had Apex 23, you downloaded this plugin, you added it in your application. Now the moment you upgraded Apex, this plugin will not work. So either you need to contact them for the latest plugin. They charge some money also, as you see here, commercially supported,
Hmm.
because it's they developed and they want to sell this. Or in some cases, you may not find the latest version also. So then you need to completely modify the code, and you need to find some another approach to do the task. So this is one challenge with plugins.
Yeah.
So, but it again depends on the use case. Next is component settings. So this, yeah. So component settings means some inbuilt values of some of the components. Let's say the checkbox. When you create a checkbox in the application, so the default value will be y and n. Checked value y, unchecked value n. So these are predefined. You can, if you want something else, you can modify here, but the default will be this one. Same for color picker, the display, and like how it should show. And so these are settings which you can modify for the date picker, what are the values it should show. Month picker, year picker, so visible, and it all, there is a switch item. Again, Y and N will be there. Then star rating. This is also an item type. Default icon. Okay. Shortcuts. Some message you can set, but these are not that much useful, and generally in the shared component, which is very commonly used and must to have, is like this one: security attributes, list of values, plugins, security attributes, authentication, authorization, application items, application process, computation, list, navigation menu, breadcrumb, navigation bar, then the files and reports. So static application files, static workspace files. So like any image, any logo, anything which you want to add in your application, you can create the static application file, or any, you can see some of the images are already added here. And workspace. Now what is the difference between a static application file and a static workspace file? So both the purpose is same, result you will get same. Only difference is the application files will be specific to this application only. Workspace files will be for the complete workspace. So any anything which you want to use in multiple applications, same file will be used in multiple application. So instead of uploading under each application, you can upload as static workspace file and then refer the file name in different application. So the advantage here is, let's say in future you want to change that file. So you don't need to go to each application and upload it again. You can just replace the file under a static workspace file with the same name. So what will happen? Everywhere this will get changed. No need to change in each application. And anything which is specific to one application, that you can add here. The report layouts and report queries, these two are used for the BI publisher integration. So like in cases where a BI publisher integrated with Apex for PDF report printing, then this report layout is required. Generally for the just for the Apex development, this is not required. So what happens, how BI publisher works? You need to create one template, the RTF template using the Word file, and then you need to upload it here. And the report query means how the data for the that layout will come from the database. So that report query you need to create here.
Okay.
User interface. This is again very important. Some of these user interface, progressive web app themes. So user interface has your all the settings and components about how your application looks. So your application icon, application name, and a logo. You can add some image. Then the home page and login page, how the application should redirect, the navigation menu. This we saw last day also, from the side to top or top to side, from where you want to put, and same for the navigation bar. So it's all about the application look and feel. Progressive web app, it's enabled only. This is When you enable this, I think it won't work on this one, apex.oracle.com. But if you let me see, installable, yes. Now I think it will work. Log out and log in. Still, it's not working here. So what happens when you have your own Apex instance, and if you enable this, so what it will give? It will give user an install icon here, install app. So Apex apps can be installed in the device directly from the browser. So first time user need to log into the application using the application link in a browser, and then once if you enable this progressive web app, they will get a install app icon here before the username.
Okay.
That user need to press, it will install the application on that device. From the next time, they don't need to copy the link, open it in a browser. No need of that. They can directly tap on that icon. It will create as an icon on the app, as an app in the device, just like any other app. Suppose if you do it on a mobile, it will be just like any other app in the mobile device. And they can just tap on that and it will open the application. No need to go through the browser every time. So that is the purpose of this progressive web app. Theme is like you see this universal theme. So this theme is called universal theme, which you see this blue banner and this red black left side and this layout. So all applications by default are created with this theme, and under the theme you will see the templates. What are the different templates set for this? Like page standard. Page has different template, navigation bar, navigation menu, login page, error page. So like this. Then in general we don't need to change anything here. What happens? This theme has some different color patterns, so that you can change from here also. If you see this customized in the toolbar, when I click on this, it is showing theme roller. So this is very useful for developers to see the look and feel directly here. So Vita current, if I choose Vita dark, the application will be like this. Then Vita red, application will change like this. Vita slate, so application will change like this. So this theme roller will show you just after the change, what is the effect of change it will show. And if you don't save and if you close, it will go back to the original state, whatever it was saved. But this has some, now any change what you are doing here, this change is happening directly in the theme. Now, apart from these four options, you can change your own color also. Let's say primary accent, if I change to something else, it will change. It's up to whatever way, whatever color design as per your organization's color patterns, you can change that here. And if you know the color code, you can put the color code here directly. And once it is changed, if you save, This will be saved as your theme. And if I don't want to save, just close it before saving. It will go back to the original color. I think in the UI user interface, hmm, you see those options are available here, theme style. So once I choose it something from here, some other, the value will change here also. And if I add something new, my custom color, and if I save, that will appear here. So any question from this so far?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Then the templates are just the components of theme. So as I was showing here, under the themes, we have different template. So so these are the default templates. You see component defaults. Now a page can have different template, but the
Okay.
default template is standard. So whatever is set here is the default template. But if you want to see all the available templates, you can go here and go to template. If I filter based on page, so it will show you these are the different types of page template. Drawer, left side column, left and right side column, login, marquee, standard. So the default is standard. That is why whenever I am creating a page, if you have noticed, the page template is created as standard. I'll show you. I have not changed any template on any of the page. So you see the page, when you go to any page in the appearance, you see page mode and page template.
Mm.
So page template theme default. Theme default means whatever template is set as default template in the theme, the page will take that as the template, right?
Yeah.
If I change, there are two things. Now let's say this page, I want to change a template. So I'll change this to let's say right side column. Now let me show you the effect. You see, right side, some this side bar is added.
Mm.
This you can use for any other purpose if you want. If I go to any other page, still the theme default template is there, that is standard, right? Only this page is changed,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
So this is one way. If you want your theme default as a standard on some specific page, you want to change some template. Now I'll change it back to theme default. So it is showing the default template. Now let's say for all the pages you want to change the template. So earlier your default template is a standard. Application is created as a standard page template. Now I have a new requirement where I need to change template on all the pages. In this case, no need to go to each page and change the template. No, because then it's better go to theme and change the default template itself. So what we can do, you see page standard, I will change this to right side column. Now what will happen? On all the pages, you will see that right side column. You see on the home page,
Hmm.
interactive report, classic report. So, because I have changed in the theme itself, the default template. So everywhere it is applicable. No need to go to each page and change. You got it, the purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'll revert it back to a standard. And which template to choose where? That's totally depends on your use case, the requirement, how the application should be designed based on the content that you want to show accordingly. This email templates, it's a newly added feature in the last version. You can, I think, create some template for the emails. We saw the email features for
Yeah.
that only, and you can define header, body, and I think use this on the email process. So here it will show you add the template. Must be there. Let's see. You see email template. So once you have template created, you can choose that from there. Data sources. This first one data load definition is for the data load wizard, which I will cover, the data upload feature. And these are for some web services calls from Apex or REST API calls. So these are part of the advanced features generally in the application, basic applications. We don't need all this. Data upload, I will show tomorrow. What happens? There is a page type in Apex which allow you to upload CSV files in the application. See this data loading.
Yeah.
So you can upload, but there is one drawback of this data load also because it works like a multi-page wizard. One data loader will create 4 pages like that. So at that time, this data load definition under shared component gets created. What is data load definition? It will have the information about the target table, like the CSV which you are uploading will go to which table, the data should go to which table.
Mhm.
It contains all the that details and the column mapping, like from the Excel column to the target table column, how the data will flow. So this gets created automatically when we create a page type data loading. So we'll see this tomorrow. I need to create a sample CSV file and see this data load wizard.
Okay.
So any question from whatever we covered so far?
Yeah, seems to be straightforward.
Okay. And you do some practice, and if anything comes, then we will discuss that.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. So we'll connect tomorrow then.
Okay.
Okay.